Hello, 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 and welcome to Devstream 152 or Home Devstream 12. It's our second Devstream of 2021. Steve is, I guess, coming to join us.
He was there the whole time.
He was here the whole time.
Good thing I put pants on today.
All right. Well, people are worried you got kidnapped, Steve, but that's not the case. You're all here. Why don't you just say hello to our viewers on Twitch and YouTube? My name's Rebecca. I'll be hosting the stream today. Sheldon, what's your deal?
My name's Sheldon. I'll be reacting to the stream today in real time.
Yep. Oh, yes. That's great. Steve?
Hi, I'm Steve, and I'm excited to see you all in chat. And I think we're trying Parsec today, so we have like cool tech so we can react to Rebecca.
Pretty exciting.
I'm excited about this.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I've been told I'm here for only one question to be asked, so just gonna hang out until I get to it.
That's not true. And Scott down at the bottom there.
A good thing.
I'm Scott, and I will not be making any Parsec jokes or anything.
Nothing of the sort. Glad to hear it. Well, for the next hour, or perhaps longer, depending on how long this goes, we're going to be talking to you about Warframe. If you're watching on Twitch with a linked account with our new Drops 2.0, if you watch for 30 minutes, you can get an Umbra Forma blueprint. So make sure you're there. Everyone wants to know where your truck is, Scott, so we can get an update on that.
It's still there. It's like that's
truck.
the truck.
Is that a truck?
That is not a truck.
That is the truck.
Vacuum cleaner.
It's a vacuum, and but there's a truck behind it.
I disagree.
There is a truck.
I should also mention that there are 2 Gift of the Lotus alerts live on all platforms after the stream. So whether you're playing on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, or PC, you can get yourself a rifle ribbon and an Orkan Catalyst blueprint if you complete both alerts. So yeah, get going. It's the place to be in game. But nevertheless, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do today. We just should also mention that, of course, Octavia Prime launched on Tuesday with a Prime trailer. What's going on? This is like
I was gonna be the mocap. Like Danielle kicked me out because I should have been.
I wanted to see the yeehaw dance.
Oh, the gallop.
Problem is the mocap system doesn't get the lip bite when he dances. So it's not,
okay.
That's why, and that's half of it.
Yeah. The marker resolution is not good enough. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Octavia, we also are starting the Octavia Fan Cam, aka music video contest today. So if you have an Octavia series of footage you want to put together to one of the songs that we're providing you to make a little music video, you can hop over to the forums and learn more about that. The contest is launching today, so very exciting. And I should also mention, just in more general housekeeping news, that as a company at Digital Extremes, we're not looking to be going back to the office for quite some time. We're talking kind of like September at the earliest. So just as a piece of information, any TennoCon efforts this year will be digital. So just anyone that, was anticipating travel, it's not going to happen. It's going to be digital this year. So no more news on that today. Just a heads up that the digital life is the life for us this year. So just a bit of news there.
I'm anxiously waiting my vaccine, but I think I'm going to be waiting a long, long time here in Ontario where we're at. So
yeah.
It's time for the elderly jokes.
I know.
Maybe you can jump the queue. You're looking awfully gray there.
I think in March you can book an appointment.
Yeah,
I can get on in March. You assholes. Oh my God.
Actually, speaking of aging, what a great segue. Speaking of aging, do you guys know what's special about today? Any thoughts?
Special about today?
Oh,
9 years of Warframe.
9 years of Warframe?
What?
8 years of dev streaming.
8 years of dev streaming.
February 27th.
Sheldon wasn't even born yet.
Sheldon wasn't born yet.
I was still in an egg.
Yeah, you were an egg boy. Yeah. So if, the calendar was one day forward, February 27th, 2013 is when we started dev streaming. And now here we are 8 years later, February 26th, and we're still going. So that's been 8 years.
One ever?
This is the first dev stream ever. Like I kind of mentioned, I know. There is going to be a lot of Q&A in this dev stream. So I figured I'd start it off with a question from me to you guys. What would you tell yourselves if you could go back and time travel and get in the frame here and say something to your younger 8 years ago self who was starting Warframe? This was closed beta still, What would you say to yourself?
I don't know. I think we were just all so scared back then.
Did you tell yourself not to be scared?
I don't know. Maybe not, because that probably had a lot to do with the energy that was going into it. So,
You don't know?
What would you tell yourself, Sheldon, in that picture?
Yeah, not you,
in that
Sheldon.
picture
You're-
right there, it'd be don't kill yourself. It's almost over, and you'll be able to join with Warframe soon. That's actually what I literally would have told that person 8 years ago.
Okay. That's
Never
so-
review
That got really dark.
that got really dark, but
But that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what would I have been doing?
finishing up
My
other
office is just around the corner from there.
yeah, you
I
weren't
don't
even on
know.
the project.
I would have been just around the corner, looking and going, okay, soon. There's a light at the
you're
end.
probably
of the tunnel.
heckling us. I think for sure you were
Prime
heckling us.
Blueprint? I think that was an early trauma that I had.
Frost Prime Blueprint.
Frost Prime Blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it was an early trauma.
That was
No,
a few.
I feel like deleting the database over Christmas was your.
Oh,
There's only like 1,000 players at that point.
Well,
what were you thinking, Rebecca?
oh, what was I thinking, or what would I tell myself?
What would you tell yourself? Yeah, what would you tell yourself?
I don't know. This is a hard question. I guess it's not fair.
So we turn it around. And
God. Oh my god.
I don't know. I would probably tell myself that the good times will outweigh the bad, and you know,
Yikes.
Damn.
we all went dark here.
I know it is hard. It is like I don't think we need to beat around the bush that 8 years of running a game as a service as a team like Warframe has had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but we're still here, we're still doing it, and there's plenty to look forward to. So including a platinum prize, which we'll do right now.
Ooh, you just wiggled out of that trap.
Yeah.
It's very sleek.
Whenever there's problem, give away platinum.
I know, free plat.
That's the thing to know.
Yeah. The first platinum prize winner of the day is Real Devil's Reaper. You've won 1,000 platinum. Real Devil's Reaper, congratulations. Message our Twitch page and we'll hook you up after the show. So congrats to you. You did it. But let's get into some other questions if you are all ready. Are you ready, I ask you?
Are they all going to be as hard as that?
Actually, maybe.
Yeah, clearly we're not ready. So
Yeah,
I know. I don't even know why I
we
asked.
flubbed that pretty hard. So
Yikes.
I should say the questions come from a mix of some YouTubers and Twitch streamers who have been with Warframe. Some of them more recent, some of them possibly as long as that screenshot. Like we're talking 8 years. So variety, and of course from the forums as well. So this is very classic Devstream questions from people. So let's just jump right into it. Our first question comes from, first in the spreadsheet is from Shy. This is an easy question.
So
Why
from
is
you.
Yeah, from me. Also from me. Why is Shy your favorite Warframe YouTuber? No answer? Awkward laugh. Fine with me.
we like the job that you do, Reb. You're like, it's really good.
Oh, thanks. All right.
The comedic summaries, I think, are
Yeah.
I actually think that's
those are incredible.
I think that's a legit question.
they're kind of legit, those things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That would be what comes to mind anyway.
And Shy also asks.
Very
what
distilled feedback.
Very
Yeah,
distilled.
exactly.
Fair
Keeping
enough.
us honest.
TLDR stuff. Love
Keeping
it.
us very honest.
Well, Shy also asks, what happened to this?
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff.
Shy got
Jeff.
2 questions?
Everyone
wait.
got 2 questions.
Yeah, Jeff. What happened?
We finished it. So
Same
why isn't it in the game
Where
yet?
where is it?
The art's ready, so why isn't it in the game yet?
That's a good question. There was a production breakdown, and the left hand wasn't talking to the right hand.
Okay.
It's true. I didn't even know it was done.
Jeff, it's your fault.
Scott was on the stream when we, I think, showed that they were.
I might have deleted the bug database accidentally at one point, and we lost some of that stuff. So, yeah, we have stuff like that. Sometimes we show, sometimes we don't, and there'd be often times where we might have a quest or an event, and we will go back, kind of looking in the pantry to see what hasn't been shipped, and I think those look really good, ripe for that kind of thing. So.
A lot of the Warframe
Thanks for the
developments,
reminder.
it's like making wine. And we put stuff in, and it has to age the appropriate amount before it comes out, and we can distill it into something that you're going to enjoy.
It's a very
you wait.
refined process, Rebecca.
Yes, it's super
It's
organized.
highly planned, detailed.
We knew you were going to ask that question. We've been
Nope.
waiting for it.
Those are we call those vintage bosses.
Vintage.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. All
Removed
right.
it.
All right, let's jump into questions from iFlynn. Question 1. Is there any chance in the future that the Steel Path reward vendor could be revised or revisited? I find Steel Path enjoyable as it allows me to put my gear to the test versus high-level enemies, but I have a hard time justifying playing it to how rewards are gained. If I could play Steel Path to farm up as many Umbra Forma as I want, I would play it nonstop because I have all the Umbra Forma I want. But because I need to wait 8 weeks at a time to get one Umbra Forma, the grind isn't appealing enough to me personally.
Yeah, Sheldon.
Yeah.
We should change it from Devstream to Blame Stream.
Yes, blame stream.
and we just keep.
Let's have a
Who
blame.
gets the highlight today?
God, Jeff, where's that boss?
I think it's a good. I think that's a legitimate concern, and we've seen quite a bit on Steel Path. I think once we're past, I don't know where the segue is. Like if I'm supposed to segue with this, but with no segues, I would say once we're past our next update, that's what we'll look at for sure. We'll be looking at updates for rewards in a couple places, and Steel Path is one of them.
I love it. Love to hear it. I can say just from the Steel Path release experience, we definitely did the 8-week rotation pretty intentionally, just because we thought like, hey, we could have like a reliable schedule, but more Umbra Forma is always welcome. So we'll certainly be looking at that after the next.
We'll just make it rain Umbra Forma. Yeah.
No, not necessarily. Like maybe for those who earned them, that makes sense. But
Can I sneak a comment from Chad in?
you can.
Oh, that's good.
I was just
Oh God, we
watching
lost Scott.
people-
Well, Scott just got he rage quit.
Yeah, he doesn't want.
He knew what the next question was.
I did see something about waypoint fix fly by, and that's been some technical changes to Warframe and doing offline analysis of all the. We have a lot of content in Warframe now, so now we have a system that is doing offline analysis, and the level designers are going back through the backlog and fixing those places where the waypoints are broken in the navigation mesh. So there's gigs and gigs of assets to go through, but that is now something that's been automated just a few weeks ago.
Awesome. Waypoint Utopia incoming. Second question.
Every day that number goes down.
It does. I've actually seen the bot.
Every day I
It's
check
really
it.
cool.
It goes down.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is going down, yeah.
Our next question from iFlynn, our second question. Is there a chance that the intrinsics grind could be reduced or sped up / made more worthwhile? I'd love to farm up intrinsics, but in Railjack's current state, I don't find the grind to be rewarding enough for the time required to level up.
Seems like a theme here with iFlynn's
Taking
questions.
notes. Yeah.
Yes. Scott, I'm going to throw that
give
your
me,
way.
Give me the right
Yeah.
rewards for the grind, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So part of the Railjack stuff that we're working on currently is a lot of changes to the core of Railjack, which includes basically reset of the intrinsic what you get. So rejigging / removing / adding of stuff, and then we're also allowing you to respec as part of it. So you'll be able to get your intrinsics back and respend them based on new information. So that's hopefully we've leveraged the community to find out which intrinsics people felt were really awful and which ones aren't used very much. And we've improved those or / removed them. And yeah, so hopefully the next revision is much more worthy of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the Railjack content, which is much more integrated into the core of Warframe, will also be much more worth your time.
Yeah, and I think that's
To
actually
get those rewards.
Yeah, we'll just jump right.
It's not subtle. Is that covered in a section, Rebecca?
Well, yeah, I figure, you know what, I'm kind of adapting here live, but since we did just say those things about Railjack, let's talk about spring 2021. As far as the community knows, they know spring 2021 is going to have some Railjack content, and I've made this little sort of part A, part B for everyone to start sort of rallying their expectations towards, planning their time towards. So for spring 2021, Railjack 3.0, as listed in this dev stream, but may not be final shipping name, is going to be basically the next update on PC. We're looking to get it out in spring. It's going to have Corpus Railjack content. The Command Intrinsic is coming. It's going to have full Railjack 3.0 with a dev workshop to come, and it's going to come out on PC first. Then, later in spring 2021, update 30, Call of the Tempestarii is coming. This is going to have the Warframe quest with Sevagoth, Zephyr Deluxe, and we're aiming to simultaneously release this quest and update on all platforms. So this is basically the two spring 2021 rallying points for the community. And when we talk
Update
about
30 is SimShip.
Yes.
Yes,
So
okay.
PC release first here, and then update 30 coming simultaneously. Now, when I say dev workshop to come, I think a really important part of the dev workshops is basically giving a little bit of a, what are we actually trying to achieve? And as you mentioned, Scott, like making things worth your time. So when we look at Railjack 3.0, and when you're looking for that workshop, we're going to have it posted March 8th. So we're going to have the write-up for everyone on that time. So just, I guess just over 2 weeks from now, or less than actually, we'll have that write-up for you. And what you can expect from that workshop is basically what we're looking to solve. The host's Railjack determines too much, so we're going to be introducing something called a harness to unify. It's
Are
two
we going to
different.
talk about that, or are we just
I do have.
skipping over the bullet points?
No, yeah, we can talk about the harness. I have visuals to go with it if you want to.
Oh, you do? Ooh,
I
fancy.
do. I know.
Visuals?
Well, when I say harness, what does that mean? What does that look like? So, do you want to go through the list, or do you want me to go into harness mode?
I don't know. We can go into harness mode. I guess the harness is basically the Railjack was all on the Railjack. So all the avionics and all of the upgrades were living on your host's Railjack. So you're kind of tied to whatever the host brought to the table, which was not very fun. So now we're moving as much as we can possibly stand to kind of a personal level. So all of the avionics are moving onto your person or your Warframe. Allowing you to bring your own progression to everyone's Railjack. So when you jump on the piloting, it's your mods that are going to be active for your gameplay. So if you have a lot of mods that are geared towards piloting, Railjack speed and stuff, then you can slot those in and be a better pilot. If you go onto someone else's Railjack, then you still take those with you. The equipment is left on the Railjack side and the customization. So there is some progression on if you own a Railjack, but all the avionics and all the battle avionics and tactical avionics have been moved to personal harness level, I guess we're calling it.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot to take in here for these screenshots. Clearly, avionics have become, let's say, mods, so to speak. So when we look back to our bullet points, we know that a thing to solve is Railjack is too different, but not different enough. For example, avionics and mods, Dirac and Endo. One thing to solve, of course, is many intrinsic ranks are seen as not worth it, as Scott said. So really revisiting a lot of those. Onboarding is still rough and not so intuitive to how to get your Railjack, how to play it.
There's a lot of friction in that as well. I think you also have this later on. There's a lot of friction into just getting into a Railjack mission. So smoothing all those edges out as well is part of this.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And you'll also see that the Railjack interior itself is a bit overly large and not streamlined for the pace of Warframe play. So we are renovating the interior. There, of course, a big thing, as to Eiflin's point, is the lack of connective content, such as relics, Warframes, and rewards. So Sheldon, I might send this one over to you as a thing to solve.
Yeah, there's lots of, the reward slate is quite exciting for what we're doing with this. And I don't know what we've talked about yet in terms of void storms, but one of the things that are coming with void storms will be, that kind of makes sense, right? It's energy from the void. You should be able to crack relics while you're in the void storm. So that's going to be that kind of gameplay that you love to do, and people have asked us all the time, like how do we bring more core Warframe into Railjack? Well, that's one of the key rewards that is from core Warframe that now you're going to be able to do when the void storms come. When you're on your Railjack. So I think that's going to be a cool aspect. We're unvaulting a couple primes. So we're going to have some prime relics in there for you to find. There's a couple of the Warframes that have been some of the hardest ones to get, like Ash, off the Mimics. We're going to move that into some of the missions inside Railjack. And I think that's the other thing. Like, I don't want to step on what Scott was saying, but a lot of this experience is going to be about playing core Warframe, about going on your ship for an amount of time, but then you're getting to the new mission types that you get to play. So the amount of rewards that are kind of cycling into this are pretty exciting, actually.
Yes, it's going to be, and it's a great connective layer as well. So it's rewards. We're bringing, and like you said, when we say unvaulting, we don't mean through the store. We mean we're just restoring relic. Like some relics are just going to come back.
Those relics are just going to be permanently in there, and they won't be cycling through the Prime Vault program or anything like that.
Yeah, they're just in game. And then of course there's just general mission voting and matchmaking issues, and then the skirmish only versus the Grenier Railjack having every node say skirmish, regardless of what points of interests are in there. So there's really a lot to solve. And this is just a note of things we're thinking about. The full workshop with all the details on what is the harness, what's happening to your avionics, will all come out on March 8th. But this is just sort of the dev discussion of such a workshop that will be coming later.
Yeah. So for the people that have engaged in Railjack and earned the stuff that's in there, anything that's changing or being shifted around, we'll either be doing a reset or a refund. So like the grid and avionics is being removed, so that will be refunded to you.
Yes.
So all of those things we're trying to take into account and make sure that the people that did engage with it get their stuff back, get their items back, so that they can use them in a new, different way.
Yes,
that's true. And that's the same thing with the grind as well, because we're really reducing the grind for even starting out and building a Railjack the first time, but also all of the wreckage repair and those types of things. We're drastically reducing all of the friction in that system, and all of you people who have went through it and who have paid the price to do that, we're going to make sure you're taken care of. We definitely know that you had to work hard for that stuff, and we don't want you to feel like because we've changed it that went to waste.
And I think I've just been watching chat. It's really difficult to pick out individual questions because chat is scrolling quite quickly. I think watching people's reactions, there's definitely mixed reactions to this. This is just bullet points about what our intentions are, and I think some people are like, this is really great, this is really bad, I hate this, I love this. What we have kind of on the docket is a Railjack update, and so we felt pretty strongly that Railjack systemically was not in a good position for us to give you that update without making changes to the design and to the meta progression of it. So I think if you're a player who maybe bounced off Railjack because of the grind, this is going to be for you. If you are a player that's worried that all we're doing is Railjack stuff, well, of course, the answer is we have a Railjack update that we're delivering to you, and we're making these changes so that update is even better rather than, canning it or something like that, something terrible like that. So,
yeah, and I mean, to your point,
be patient. Read the workshop. You're going to have to try it. The really cool thing, I think, with the harness, or I hope we don't call it something like that, but the really cool thing about the harness,
I blame you for that,
is that you will be able to be, there's going to be less influence on the host ship for the amount of time you put into Railjack. You'll be able to come aboard and hook into the Railjack and have your mods working. I think that's going to be really healthy for it and reduce that host dependency. And then all the stuff that Sheldon's team is doing to reduce how hard we made it to get it, which was just absolutely absurd, and how complicated the systems were to build your Railjack and upgrade it. All of those things are getting really, really simplified. I think it's going to be very, very healthy for it and unify it with the rest of the game.
And when we say unify with the rest of the game, I think in the past Devstream, I can just show you a little example of, this is just like a gameplay test I was doing earlier of Corpus Railjack. So I'm in my Railjack. It's the Corpus capital ship. And, last stream we mentioned that, we're bringing Orphic's Venom back. So, once I've done the Railjack portion of this mission to get access to the highly secured Corpus ship, so I've had to take down some Corpus ships, some specific areas, I can then, go in and get my Orphic's Venom on, or in this case, Orphic. So I got my capital ship here. My Umbra is ready to go. And, if you are a great Eidolon hunter, you're used to the arcane gameplay loop at night on Earth. But, Orphix is back, which means Arcanes, another way to get Arcanes is coming back within the Orphix mission type. So Orphix will be back. Not only are you on your Railjack, you also have your Warframe and, of course, your mechs. So we're unifying this whole world of Railjack, mechs, and core reward loops like the arcanes to get everything sort of in one package, and that's also part of the Corpus Railjack expansion. So.
Yep, and just again reacting to people's concerns in chat, which again, anytime we announce changes to anything, people can maybe have a knee jerk to be worried. Scott, I don't think it would be fair to characterize these changes as dumbing Railjack down, would it?
No, I think it's just fixing some of the mistakes we made, I guess. Like, like putting all the stuff onto your Railjack and not letting the players that join it have meaning in it. I think that was a mistake. So allowing you to mod and personalize your Railjack experience, that means picking your own tactical avionics, your own battle avionics. You'll have your own resource pool, so you'll have your own Revelite to deal with. You won't be in a shared pool. That basically means that if people don't craft it, you're in trouble. Those things will regen. The Battleforge remains, but it has a different meaning now. It's an instant plus a max change. So I think it's just correcting some of the systemic mistakes that we made with it, but keeping the core loop as intact as possible.
Yeah, and I think when we looked at, okay, well, we have this Corpus delivery and we have the Call of Tempestarii, and this is all Railjack stuff, and that has a long tail of development leading to that. I think increasingly we felt internally that we needed to make these changes for Call of Tempestarii to be as successful as it deserves. And so I think I personally felt like we didn't have a choice, that we really needed to face some of these issues. And so that's kind of the impetus for the change. As dramatic as it sounds, all the systems are there, but they've been kind of reworked, I think, as an improvement and to fix some of the bad co-op, but keep the kind of complexity. This is the most complex way to play the game. You've got all these dependencies. You got someone flying. You got someone shooting. You got someone repairing. So all of those things remain. We're definitely not making this a bumper car. It's still pretty complicated.
Yep.
But we are smoothing it out, and like Sheldon said, taking rewards from the rest of the game and giving you good incentives, like iFlint was asking, giving you good incentives to engage with the kind of interesting systems we built there.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. I mean, are we going into like the game modes? Like,
I think for this, that's going to be more the dev workshop breakdown.
Okay.
But like as it stands, you
Right.
saw Orphix Phantom. There's going to be other game modes and things coming, and the
Yeah,
Void
new
Storm,
game modes.
New game.
There's
modes.
actually a completely brand new one plus some returning. Yep.
like that. Like, I mean, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to play new game modes. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
And you're
a strict-
seeing like the capital ships, are going to be attacking like they were in our TennoCon demonstrations. We're going to have Void Storms rolling in, like we saw in the TennoCon demo. So we're kind of delivering on things that we didn't really get the time to do before. So that's going to be part of. Well, on PC is going to be a little earlier, and then of course a big part of Call of Tempestarii.
Yeah. All right.
Which is story and lore and the things that for a certain audience you really are desperate to see the story of the game advance, and that's what Call of Tempestarii is going to be doing. But we're shipping first on PC because our beautiful PC audience can get hot fixed by the hour, and we are making a lot of changes, and we need your help to smooth those out before we go into certification.
Yeah, I'm excited from the. I love the idea of the fact that the quest is going to be SimShip, because it won't be.
SimShip.
You know, if you're
No
you're a
spoilers, everyone
player,
gets to watch.
there's no spoilers. Exactly. There's no
right,
chance.
yeah.
Everyone's going to get it at the same time.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you're a console player, you'll be able to. You might see those design changes come earlier to Railjack, but you won't have to avoid the forums for story spoilers because we're going to SimShip that.
Unify the emotional weight of what's coming with Call of the Tempestarii, because you'll all get to, you all.
I have a lot of unified emotional weight.
I was gonna
Unify
say,
the
wow.
emotional weight.
I need to shed some of that, but that's all right.
All right. We'll move into a next question from Tactical Potato. Question 1. Guns versus melee. Are there any
here we go.
plans?
Knew he was going to ask
I
this.
knew he was going to ask this.
Knew
Are
it.
there any plans to bring the damage of primary and secondary weapons up in line with our melee scaling to balance things out, or are you happy with the gulf between weapons?
We are not happy. There's been many YouTube videos that have demonstrated the absurdity that is the melee in the steel path. Going back to your video you made, Reb, about you could play the whole steel path with the smashing knee. Mm-hmm. You made an entire video of that.
Yeah, a lot of
Joe,
ad revenue.
Joe, who worked on these systems daily, took that to heart a lot and has been spending a lot of time making changes without necessarily directly nerfing melee, but looking at mods that can be added to the primary and secondary system that will bring those up to the level of melee, but maybe dropping melee in a not necessarily a power, but a functional way as well. So a lot of the stances and combos, every hit was a stagger or stun, which is basically free CC all the time. So looking at going through each of the attacks and the stances and potentially removing some of the staggers and stuns that are just built into every hit. He's pitched probably 3 or 4 different, or more than 3 or 4, probably 10 different mods that mod changes plus additional mods that are going to be added to the primary and secondary pool, plus some changes to some of the melee ones. We're also looking at, Jeff will appreciate this, is bringing down the attack rate of melee is one of the things we're also looking at because
so it looks better.
Well, that's what Jeff
I've
hates.
I've been saying that for years, but
it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
2022, Jeff is in charge of balance.
Good luck, Jeff.
Yeah. So I think we totaled it all up, and I think it's somewhere around 230% attack speed you can get now on melee by combining all of the different mods that we've released over the years and the prime versions. So kind of looking at those, and potentially we have the idea of parented mods that allow you to not double put ones that kind of do the same thing. So taking those and maybe classifying them down so that we can limit how crazy you can actually make it on attack speed side. So there is definitely going to be some nerfs to melee, but we're looking at to do it in a way that just basically brings the danger back to the game versus it removes all of the power fantasy that we want. And then bringing up the guns to follow. He's got some pretty cool ideas to kind of combo the melee with the guns as well. Like on a melee kill, you get a bonus to your primary and stuff like that.
Yes, like the whole arsenal can benefit itself.
Yeah, so basically we're hoping that we can kind of shake up some of the meta that has surfaced from the years of mods that we've added to the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely on our mind, and Joe has been working on it, and I'm probably butchering this horribly, and he's going to message me after this. But
yeah.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be
the combo stuff sounds exciting.
There's going to be 2 dev workshops on the radar. It sounds like.
What's the timeline for this?
He's been working on this right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is all.
It's not Tempestarii timeline though, is it?
I don't think
so. No.
It's an internal. Whenever we want to try to do it.
Yep.
Chad is taking it, everything Scott said, as a giant nerf, so I'm sure Joe is.
That's all I ever do is nerf things. So here we are.
Joe is very afraid right now.
Yeah, I think let's take away some key things. So for example, if I were to just as a Devstream host jump right into, hey Jeff, like you brought some cool stuff for like a new melee type. Let's go right into the ghoul. But the problem is we have the ghoul saw, we've talked about it. Melee is
I'm the shiny object to distract things, I guess.
No. I'm saying it's important that the work that goes into the content for Melee has a home, and we've just kind of established that there's a huge gulf, and there's just small things we're going to look at in tweaking, like the speed and the parenting. And the goal isn't to take away the power fantasy in the slightest. Melee is one of Warframe's strengths when you look at the game. So I would just encourage the community to take a listen to what we said and why we want to do it, and then obviously wait for some write-ups and some facts for everyone. But I think that in the spirit of the content that gets made for Melee, and when you do see those attack speed situations that obviously I would say to Jeff's artistic sensibilities, you would like the Melee world to just be a bit more grokkable when you want to see what's going on. But
yeah, it just turns into noise for me, for sure, for a lot of it.
Yeah, it's completely nonsensical. You can't even see what's going on.
Yeah.
So
it's so. And speaking of seeing what's going on, you've put work into some melee situations here, such as this ghoul saw, and when you want to do a finisher, it'd be nice to see this happen, or it would be nice to have a finisher.
Can't believe that.
Like a table saw.
But like,
that's like a nightmare scenario right there.
That's Sheldon's nightmare.
Yeah, I hate table saws. Oh man.
Like it would be fun to be able to do these things and see them happen in the melee flow rather than not. But there's of course. Pardon?
We got any more of this?
Yeah. Where's the riding animation?
There
it is.
There you have it.
So that's going to be set up as a state change in one of the combos where you can go into the riding state on the weapon. So it's something you can opt into, and then when you come out of it, it's going to be that attack.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I like that the animators bother to put the particles in.
I know.
They got to sell it,
Yeah.
So TLDR melee is going to be horribly nerfed, but you'll be able to have a unicycle.
That is not the TLDR. We clear, melee nerf, but don't do these things. This is bad because people will quote you. But I think hearing
and
this
hit Sheldon up on Twitter if you want to talk about it.
Yeah. No, I think hearing all of this, the first thing my mind goes to is like, okay, so this is a lot of information. Melee is a lot of what lets people kill certain enemies, steal paths specifically.
I really, really want people to understand that we're really, really trying hard not to just take a nerf to melee. The really, really easy path to this is to just nerf melee. That's not what we're doing. We're looking at things to lower it a little bit and bring the guns up. So we're raising the power of the guns is 90% of the fix that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Melee is such an iconic part of Warframe now that we would not want to step on it. So
we need to add pitchforks to our Warframe merch store. I think we would sell so many things.
Interesting. Is that like inside? Interesting.
Oh, man.
All right. So I should mention that there were a handful of content creators that asked a question of that nature. They just came in at different times. So we had Grind Hard Squad asked about updating the melee meta. Lazar Gaming asked about the power gap between ranged and melee and what are we doing. So that question was actually the most common from that area. So that's probably not a surprise to hear. But
yeah, the game has become super melee heavy for the high end players, right? It's the only game in town. Mm-hmm. So if you're here for the guns and you enjoy the gunplay and you kind of ignore melee, then you're playing at a disadvantage right now because of that. So we definitely need to bring the guns up to the level of melee. 100%. We are all on board with that.
Awesome. The Q&A streams go very. So this is indie.
I didn't bring enough beers here. This is crazy.
Go grab a beer. I'll ask an art question for Jeff because we have.
Is that all the animations for the ghoul saw? Is there anything more?
For the ghoul saw, those are the 3 I have.
Okay, cool.
I guess
just want to make sure I get to see them all.
There is more. It's a new type, so that means you have to redo everything. You have to do the movement and all that fun stuff. So
and can you stay on it a bit, or how does riding it work?
It's part of one of the combo chains. So one of the attacks you can mount it and then stay on it until you opt to come off of it.
Oh, you can just keep going.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep. They're working on it.
Is it steerable, or are we a straight line thing, or what's?
You know how these things go.
Can you juggle while you're on it?
It's a K-drive now.
This is all important stuff.
It's going to turn into it was originally going to be just an attack, but it's going to turn into its own vehicle. Like we all
love it.
That, so.
Maybe Potato will make a video next year about how it's all the K drives are imbalanced because it's all about ghoul saw riding.
Ghoul saws.
You never
the
know.
Ghoul saw meta is going to take over.
So maybe if you could go back in time to yourself on this stream 8 years from now, you'd say, "Don't release the ghoul saw. It ruined everything." So
change the whole game. It's the new copy.
All right, I got questions to get through here. Oh God, I think my headphones just died, but we'll see. All right, so question from Brozyme. In recent updates, we've seen a good handful of new game modes, Disruption, Scarlet Spear, Orphic Venom. Do any of these game modes speak to Warframe's future in terms of structure, whether that be rewards or gameplay?
That's a good question. I thought, just to talk about the rewards part, I thought that was a big success, and I would credit Scott with that. That the reward structure for FX Venom, the way that worked out, it was a great idea to kind of have the pairing.
I don't know if I'm being thrown under the bus here or
no. I'm not throwing you under the bus.
Are you saying like putting you could earn it or get lucky?
Yeah,
Are you
I really
about
like that. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's something that I'd like to emulate for in the future as well. So I think that was a good indicator for if you were to look at that and you like that. If you liked it, then you could say that that's one that we're taking away as one that's going to be useful for the future.
Excellent.
Sorry, that was just my 2 cents.
That's I don't know if anyone else has a remark on that.
We do have kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's a big question. So the reward structure, and then are the gameplay structures also indicative of the future? I wouldn't say that.
Well, there's
obviously
a follow-up.
we're using the mech stuff. Necromechs are going to be more generally usable in our next Railjack update. Is that fair to say, Scott?
Yep. It's mechs have been integrated into the intrinsics.
Oh.
Yeah. So you'll be able to kind of use them anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, so the intrinsics that you didn't think, if a player didn't like rank 5 in tactical or something, maybe mechs have a home there now. Something like that.
Something like that.
Follow up on that. Open worlds have seen a lot of advancement in terms of quality since Plains of Eidolon through story and reward structure, but tend to have objectives that boil down to mobile defense in many cases, especially bounties. Is there a want to lean towards more active objectives in the future, or is defense more core to open worlds?
There's a huge desire to evolve that. Steve was, I don't know, he was venting, I guess, about like his desires to expand on open world gameplay, just like recently. Anyway, we know we gotta expand on that, and I think there's some stuff in the works with some current open world explorations.
So I think also with the when we previewed a bit of the Railjack stuff last year, I think a lot of people saw that kind of stuff and went, "Oh,
data mass.
We're still doing that," and the 2012 data mass is still alive, and so we are expanding that. We don't think that that's. I don't think that that's like we don't feel like that's a pinnacle game mode or like some kind of like core underpinning of those structures. We want to go we want to go much more diverse and more active for sure. But I don't think that's going to be reflected soon. But I think you're going to see.
Oh yeah, well, the new game mode.
The new game mode in the Railjack stuff will show you where we need to go. I think we've been internally not doing well balancing the kind of releases that add new game modes. I think Orphic Venom was a good exception to that, but I don't think that we've been doing enough to revitalize that old stuff that kind of had musty smell on some of those game modes. And so that's kind of a big kind of the marching orders of our crew is to dig a little deeper, and maybe even if things are working, if you guys are burned out on them, we got to change it. So
did you pay Brozine to ask that question, Steve?
Absolutely, I got to do my
that was how dare you?
And I'm paying in Bitcoin, and it's just going through the roof, so it's terrible.
How dare you? So we also have a question from Sliverito, who wants to know, because of the player's power and damage being so high and easy to output from an execution standpoint, is there a plan to focus on other forms of difficult content, such as higher mechanical difficulties from parkour, squad-based puzzles, or larger group content where you must coordinate? Something similar to the old raids, an 8-person mission split between Railjack and Ground Squad, aka Scarlet Spear, etc.
Yep, I think a lot of the boss design lately has been trying to lean on mechanical difficulty versus gear checks. So that's something that we're always trying to be aware of. I keep seeing raid going by in chat. So the trials stuff, we are looking at potentially resurrecting trials with the third orb and making the third orb into a trials. So that's in progress as on paper. So that is something that we're definitely looking at, and definitely something we want to bring back to the game in a more manageable and maintainable form. So that's for sure. I think making the game more difficult beyond just can your gear handle this is something that we're definitely always trying to look for.
Mm-hmm. It's further than on paper as well. Like there's actually been
a lot of animation. Yeah.
There's a lot of active exploration to getting that and trying to make it right. So we're working on it.
From a design side, it's mostly on paper on how to make it into a trial.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should have clarified that. On the actual boss stuff, it's quite far along, even on content.
Yeah. Now, I know with the amount of stuff we've talked about, I want to make some expectations clear for players in terms of what that actually might look like. So right now, I think we've shown sort of the scope of Call of the Tempestarii with the Quest and Sevagoth and the Corpus Railjack before it. Corpus Liches I saw go by. That's not part of this spring 2021 dichotomy that we showed. So just keep that in mind. We'll be giving you updates.
Is it not?
No. Steve Sinclair.
Where's he going?
I need hazard pay at this point from these, but
there is a lot of work done on those liches.
There's a little piece of salt. I guess that's a bad phrase on the internet. There's a little cayenne pepper in Tempestarii. So
I see what you're saying. See. Okay, yeah. Anyway,
nudge. Could be taken on vacation.
Either way, we'll be giving you guys timelines or approximate timelines on when you can expect these things, because I know everyone wants to be in the loop on when. So,
well, if you subscribe to Reb's Twitter, is that your paid tweets? Talk about all those.
Oh yeah, my paid tweets. They're very good.
Your paid tweets give all the details of that.
Yes,
we're going there, right?
We have a question from Angela Set. I understand content delays in recent events have turned many things on its head. DE had to scrap many plans as the offices were moved to home. However, what are your thoughts or concerns about the fact that the Lotus has been the spoiler enemy for 3 years, and a large percentage of the player base really only know her as a purple hologram enemy?
Well, that kicks in later. Like, you don't get that right off the bat. So when you get to that part, yeah. How do we feel about that? I don't know. How do we feel about that, Jeff? I don't know. I don't know if pride would be the feeling.
No, definitely not.
Let's just say we think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah. I am very excited.
It's going to be a very good year.
I'm very excited about that.
You guys are really subtle, you know? There's subtlety to what you're saying.
No one gets it. This is super hard to follow.
All right, we'll do a
platinum prize.
Flat prize. Flat prize.
Platinum prize.
All right, the winner is
X Zenvin.
X Zenvin. X Zenvin, you've won 1,000 platinum. Message us and we'll hook you up after the show. Whisper our page. Question from Karu, one of our artists, creators. As someone on the creative half of the player base, I was always wondering, would it be possible to have enhancements or reworks for Captura, specifically the video? Generally speaking, they want to be doing some scenes, video animations. Could we have such power within the Captura tools so the fandom can get more creative with them? Can our engine handle more complex cinematic tools in Captura?
It would be great if it could. I would love to see it.
Steve likes to say we have the code.
Yeah,
we do have the source code, so we are able to modify it. Let me think. I would suppose that probably a lot of that would be on the UI team to kind of expose the underlying functionality.
They're busy.
What? Busy?
They're busy.
They are. Well, I mean, they are definitely busy right now, especially with all of the changes to Railjack that they are working on.
I'm sorry.
Yep, but I think that'd be really. I don't know. We feel Capture has been pretty successful for us, and I think we definitely are very open-minded to extending it further. More lighting options, more animation options. I think would be really cool.
I think supporting that aspect of community content is really important. So
They could make Prime trailers for you, Jeff. Think about it.
that'd be great.
Fan Prime trailers.
That'd be great.
However, second question from Karu. When can we move sigils all over the body to be more like a tattoo system rather than just chest and back? Like, can we have the projector be arm, booty, belly?
That was your question, wasn't it?
No, it's not. It's not.
You've been on this like tattoo kick lately.
Yeah, well, can we move sigils to...
That should be. Why
Yeah,
can't we
the
do that?
The
That should be.
sigil, let me think about how the sigil works. Right now in the database, I believe only, it's very small in the database. There's only like one orientation. So, I mean, it would be something that we'd look at. The key thing would be, someone says tramp stamp. The reason that one jumped out and hit me in the eye. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be pretty awesome. And again, it's the getting the time for the UI team to put in that feature, and then a little bit of work for how we store that in the database, because it would be I have to store like a whole arbitrary 3D position in pose space. So, but
Gotcha.
it's technically is not that far of a reach.
Gotcha. We had some questions as well from various content creators as well as the community at large about what Sevagoth's Helminth ability is. So later in spring, when you get your Sevagoth, one of them or two, depending on how you roll, you'll be able to sit in your Helminth, provided you have it. And once you subsume Sevagoth, you will be getting Gloom. So Gloom is Sevagoth's third ability, which we can take a look at. And you can get Gloom. That is the...
Work never truly ends, man. It's like the Helminth knows my feel.
It's true. work never ends. So one thing we didn't do with Sevagoth last stream, much to my embarrassment, was actually show Sevagoth in the arsenal. And the reason this is important is, not only for fashion frame, but also, upgrading. When you're upgrading a Warframe, you're putting on your mods, survivability, range, whatever you choose for such a, build you're going for. But one thing that's coming with Sevagoth, Scott, which you've managed to double the exalted nature. Are you curling up into a ball right now?
No.
You can mod Sevagoth's shadow independently. So when you go into Sevagoth's shadow form, you are essentially able to provide a whole second series of upgrades to Sevagoth's shadow. So you have your Sevagoth. You can make Sevagoth look as you will. Maybe you want Jeff?
No, not that.
Anything but that one. Yeah.
How's that?
I want Serpentor colors for sure. For myself.
Serpentor. Oh my god.
No. But you can also have your shadow look a little different too. So, say I don't know, Jeff, you can see real. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's very regal.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
You got it. Not bad. That's.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you can get your Sevagoth going. So I have my two different forms here, and then of course the shadow has claws, which you can also upgrade as a melee weapon. So you can kind of go through.
Which needs an icon, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a few UI hookups that haven't been done, obviously.
Thanatos sites.
Really isn't as subtle this shadow form, is it?
No.
Wow, so rad.
Yeah,
Crazy,
and Sevagoth is shipping with a signature weapon, so why don't we take a look at that in action here?
Cool.
Their sidearm, which actually I just wanted
to... Yeah,
it is. I just wanted to quickly do a shout out to some of the UI improvements coming as well. We are getting a new new treatment on the world state window up here, just to have a little more usability for all things events, so you can get some nicer graphics. And yeah, so let's.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Let's hop in.
Okay.
I'll just use the sidearm for a little bit just to give... again, this is coming with Update 30, Call of the Tempestarii, Sevagoth, signature weapon, all that jazz.
I knew that question was going to come.
Which one?
Chroma.
Oh, about modding, like, Chroma's
could you do...
pelt separately?
Oh. This is your own fault, really, Scott.
It is.
Mod
I just...
pelt. All right.
See this.
Okay, before I do anything, really, really important part of the agile animation for Sevagoth. This is very important, chat. Very important. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
All right.
We
Raven.
do
It
a
had better
customization,
colors, it
dude.
would have been
Not
better.
that quite as cool with the color combo, but whatever, it's fine.
Colors,
Wait, you don't like the color?
You only get one chance at a first impression.
That's
but
fine. That's fine.
Well,
Shut down all systems.
anyway, the
All right.
sidearm is a
Sidearm.
wrist-mounted sidearm that you can. So I'm just going to use Gloom so everyone can. So Gloom is the one that spreads and you can get health steal on kills. It slows enemies down. That's the.
I'm really sad too.
Gloom is also
It's very
sad.
gloomy.
They're very sad. They're crying under their helmets right now.
It is the Helminth ability, but also the wrist-mounted sidearm. You can do quick taps for your headshots, or you can do a charged shot, which will slow with a cold proc enemies in it, so you can more easier shoot their heads off. So it's a good little
Slow on your slow.
Fallen enemies
Slow on my
crucial-
slow.
Crucial life support. Be on the lookout.
So yeah, and when you're with Sevagoth, when Sevagoth uses it, you'll have a enhanced damage on headshots. So as long as it's in Sevagoth's hands, you'll have all that going for you.
Nice little bit of gunplay there.
There comes that blue shadow.
Indeed,
Fully
there it is.
saturated with blue.
see it.
Yeah.
Very natural. Very natural. And you can do a little sow, reap what you sow, and then of course, once your death well is full, you can summon Sevagoth's shadow. So that's something I could do here. Perhaps I can reap what I sow. And I think I'm ready to call the big blue.
Big blue.
Here comes Big Blue.
There you go.
I delivered a life support
that's
capsule to the area.
So huge.
Activating it will buy
There you go.
Yeah, he needed a custom camera because he was taking the
big.
entire screen.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Of course.
I think they all got custom dodges too.
they did. So custom
Wraith
dodge.
and Reaper again. Or Sevagoth.
Sevagoth, yeah.
I always do.
Well, the camera might not be hooked up for those.
Well,
There you
we're
have it.
doing it live.
Doing it live. All right, needless to say, Sevagoth is going to be having quite a time terrorizing the enemies of the Origin system. So there you have it.
Cool. That's great.
Excellent.
He can jump. Someone was asking if he could jump.
And crouch.
And crouch.
You can crouch too.
Technically, you can crouch.
Shadow crouch.
We have a question from Natural Candy. Are there any new stories planned for the Stalker? It's been a long time since the second dream. Haven't heard from him.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
What say you,
Put him in the
Steve?
closet.
I kind of wonder what's going on with Stalker these days. Like
orders in there.
last we saw, he's
It feels like a community project. Like there's
Yeah.
going to be a whole video of Sad Stalker.
I thought there was going to be like some
Narcos?
surprise thing we're going to show. Like, oh, what's going on? This is
I'm
exciting.
asking Steve.
What is happening? What is happening with?
yeah. Well, yeah.
Stay tuned.
I hate to say stay tuned. I really feel like over the last year or so, I personally overpromised, and I just want to start delivering, so I'm not going to say much.
Got it. All right.
Fight
That
the
works.
time.
That
Take your
works.
Yep.
We have some questions from. Actually, you know what? We have to do more platinum prizes, so let's do another one of those.
Okay.
We'll do another platinum prize. You should be able to see that
The
show up now.
winner. Yeah, love this in real time. It's exciting.
We had a question. Oh, Squirrel M. Squirrel M, you've won 1,000 platinum. Whisper us and we'll hook you up after the show. Squirrel M, way to go. You did it. So Corporal Facehugger wants to know, my biggest question is when are we going to get Necromex in normal missions? Orphix Venom whet my appetite and I want more.
Operator, are you enjoying the view?
When?
We already spoiled that, didn't we?
I know, but just you can remind people.
Give
Maybe
you be explicit. I guess it's what was it? 29.999 update.
actually, I'm glad you asked. It would be
Funny.
nope.
29.99.
Yeah, 29.10. So there you go.
Why 0.10? Where did that come from?
That's the way we roll.
In that update, it will be in the intrinsics. One of the intrinsics will allow you to spawn your mech wherever you want.
Got it. Sweet.
29.10.
That's how
Or
we roll.
9999.
999. All right. We did promise a little bit of Zephyr Deluxe in game. So why don't we take a look at... I made a little video for the world of my cool Zephyr. Looking cool. This is with the Deluxe animations as well, the Deluxe Agile. So this is Zephyr Deluxe coming with the second part update.
He's going to give Octavia a little bit of a run here.
This is
It's a pretty good animation set.
pretty hip.
There was a last minute change that didn't get in. There's some transparency
Yes.
that's going to get added on the chest and everything. So it was added late though. So
Yeah.
it didn't get in time.
And unfortunately, my build is a bit behind, so I don't have it. I could show this in game as well, but I don't have the transparency, so it's up to you, Jeff, really, if you want me to.
You can go for it.
Okay.
I'll give him a better idea of it. Yeah.
All right. Let's do that.
Do you have the idols purchased?
I do indeed.
It's
I
important.
just I need to
Did I see a
pre-process
little
them.
bit of jitter on that winglet? What did I see there? No.
I don't know.
I don't know what you saw.
What did you
There's
see?
jitter. Steve will find it.
There was a little bit of like attachment leg or something. I don't know.
While I'm waiting for my game to pre-process the... I did actually get some character changes, but obviously not.
There we go.
There we go.
we go.
Okay, let's go right
Oh,
to game.
well, we see it.
Yeah, you do. But we can...
Oh yeah. So that chest piece is supposed to be transparent.
Yeah. So Zephyr Deluxe is coming with the UI, the landing craft, the... Oh, my dog is not interested in
Yeah,
Zephyr
it's like,
Deluxe.
no, put that here.
He's got no time for that.
Absolutely.
Koopas are not. I like it.
So very, very cool. You got Zephyr on the leg, head in the clouds on the arms. We got some Zephyr action coming. And again,
And that's
some-
all the colors that come with a set of crayons when you go to.
Hey.
And Jeremy
To,
made
a
the
restaurant,
car
yeah,
paint
restaurant.
shader. I don't know if you can you free cam again? I don't know if you can check out the legs, like the thighs, especially.
Car
can see
paint.
the
Oh, yeah.
car paint.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cool! It's okay.
So we'll probably see this on a lot of Warframes.
Car
Character
paint
guys
shader
are
coming
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah,
And
nice.
the operator is in the works right now
Yes.
for the.
You got it.
Wow.
There you have it. So that's coming with the Update 30 segment on simultaneously shipping on the platforms later in spring. We do have some more questions. One of them was a follow-up from Sliverito, just on the topic of ribbons. Is there discussion about the ability to lock stats on a ribbon? Say after X amount of rolls, being able to lock a stat as permanent for a large investment in Cuba or otherwise. So I get my Nell ribbon, it has multi-shot, something else, and I want to keep one stat but re-roll the rest. Is that something that's on one's discussions plate?
It isn't.
That's fine.
It isn't at this point. I think
Scott dropped. Scott's like, I'm done.
Scott's so mad about that question. He just
I
had to
hate
go.
that question. So
I hate that question.
It's that amazing internet again.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
how's that new Wi-Fi working out for him? I wonder.
Oh, Jesus. Discord, stop crashing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's totally Discord.
Good Lord.
It's totally Discord's fault.
Totally.
not yours.
It wasn't that question at all.
He did.
Honestly-
he's like, I'm done.
If the answer is you haven't discussed it, that's the answer.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
fine.
we
You
haven't,
don't need
we haven't
to.
discussed it. I think if you've been watching the whole stream, we have a lot of design ambition right now that we're kind of clearing through, starting with, making Railjack live more up to its promise, and then moving on into gun balance things. So I think those would trump the bad word, but probably would take precedence over ribbon changes.
Makes sense. From the art and story point, Grind Hard Squad wants to know, are Umbra Warframes beyond Excalibur in the works?
Is the score going to crash again? I think it might
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No,
Scratch
whoa.
over Jeff now because he doesn't want to answer that. We really love that Warframe. We don't have any that are in development right now. I think if you have been following Devstreams, we have a lot in development right now that we need to deliver first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great question, and I don't think it's yet the time to do that, but I think that's definitely something that's possible in the future.
You got it. All right. Well, I'm just going to make sure we've gone over virtually everything I brought with me in the asset side of things. And generally speaking, we showed a little bit of.
That was a lot of information.
It was, and I think that we are.
Shai's gonna have her work cut out for her.
I know I have a lot of work to do today, but what can you do? Run the stream, summarize the stream. All right. So what we'll do is we'll maybe if there's any pets. We did have a lot of Pets 2.0 questions. Actually, I have one right here. Sheldon, where is the Pets 2.0 as discussed on a Devstream in 2019?
How do you?
He lost the napkin.
What's the disconnect button again?
Y'all.
How do I do that? How do I?
Alt F4 quickly.
Yeah, I mean that might be one of the things that definitely I should bite my tongue on as well and not make any promises on it. But it's definitely still it's not gone.
All right.
But I won't make any more promises about it for now.
I think that's fair.
We want that.
All right.
Some new pets coming with the queen pin. So
This
Yeah.
is true.
Maybe
That's
it's
an opportunity. Yeah.
there's
All right, we have a pretty good hold on all the questions I received. And generally speaking, chat has basically been like a flux of reacting to what we're saying, asking their own questions, whether it be from raids to other things. But we are going to start winding down the dev stream now. I don't know if there's any chit chat you guys wanted to go over before we close off for a month till our next dev stream. So we have more time in between them. So speak now or forever hold your peace is what I'm saying.
I mean, it's exciting. Between now and the next dev stream, there should be update 29.13.5, whatever it is, right? It's coming between those two points. So there's big stuff coming between now and the next dev stream. It's exciting.
Yeah. Anything else from?
Yeah, I thought the questions were great, and I'm extremely grateful for the questions and for the support from people. And if you picked up Octavia, thank you very much. That's awesome, and funds Warframe continued development as we celebrate our 8th years of Devstream.
it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy, and I haven't aged a day, so really feel fortunate.
just moving up the vaccine.
Yeah.
I'm just moving up the vaccine queue.
Yeah, you're like Ned
Strategic.
Flanders. You're like got your senior citizens discount.
Unbelievable. And I think I've been reading chat, and I do see the usual list of questions. Those usual list of questions usually mean that when we discuss our dev streams after, when we're talking with our team, we're usually kind of using this as a temperature check from all of you who are watching and typing in chat, and it is something that we use as kind of a rudder to guide our next steps. Obviously, we're moving towards Call of Tempestarii and Corpus Railjack and a rework of the Railjack system and its rewards and its progression, and then moving into getting into the larger story of Warframe, and then also looking at some of the technical challenges that seems popular with our players, like cross progression, all that sort of stuff. But again, we don't have anything to announce about those things right now, but we absolutely, you are heard and you are seen in chat when you are all capsing that repeatedly.
So yeah, then we'll wrap it up. We have more announcements later in March, of course, regarding like game anniversary stuff, and so stay tuned to our marketing channels for those. Otherwise, log into Warframe, play the Gift of the Lotus alerts. They are live on all platforms. Go get them. Thank you so much to the Warframe community for 8 years of sticking around. Maybe you're new, maybe this is your first dev stream or otherwise. We are looking forward to getting lots of good posts your way about things changing, features coming to Warframe, updating it. Everyone, even though we're all at home, we're working together as hard as we can to make this year a really, really special year for Warframe, and we hope that you love what we do. So we are looking forward to everything that comes, from updates to dev streams to everything else. So thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for your time today on the dev stream side. Really appreciate you coming around, and thanks to everyone at Digital Extremes working on.
Yes, I was going to say,
Absolutely.
I think because everyone's
The
working
team.
from home, I think more of the team is watching these, and sorry for all the changes, and thank you so much for all of your work as well. I know there's a lot of systems thrash, specifically in Railjack, to kind of accomplish our goals, and I know that's not been easy, and I really appreciate it.
All right. Well,
Thanks, everybody.
have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.